Alright, so I am here today to talk to you about our quiet books. First of all, this is my very first quiet book that I made, and I made it back when my girls were really little, and so that was probably about close to 8 years ago. Anyway, and inside I made it Velcro, and I've got the sheets and everything in here, but I'm going to show you our newest design that we just recently made. Here I've got my new quiet book, and what I've done is I've added, since with the first one I made, I added handles, so then that way it could be easily carried and supported from the bottom. It'll hold its shape, as well as we've added a snap closure so that it can hold the book together, and it's a little bit more quiet than using a Velcro opening like we did the last one. We also added a firm plastic in between, so then that way it would hold the shape of the book better instead of it being floppy material. When you open it up, there's also what's great is there are some pockets. There's a big pocket right here, and then two small pockets for pens and everything. So then that way, if you have extra parts that are missing, you can put them in there, or little booklets and pens that can be put in there as well. Now the next part of the fun function of the book is that we added the clear sheets, the sheets to hold up the support of the pages inside each of the pages as well, instead of just having it be floppy fabric. Also with that, we added the name of the person, so then that way you can see their name. So it's personalized for each family, and it's basically labeled. So first off, we have here on our first page, we have the tick-tock clock. This is where kids can move the hands to the time that it shows on the clock on the wall. So it's kind of a fun way to start beginning learning how to tell time. The next thing that we have is a fun one, and it's the dog who needs to have the collar buckled. You can open up the buckle and then refasten it. The next thing we have is our kangaroo, which is lots of fun because inside the mommy's pouch is a baby kangaroo. The kids get to push the baby kangaroo into the hole, and then they get to feel around for it with their finger and pull the baby kangaroo back out of its mommy's tummy. Next we have the lion's tail. This is a little bit more complex for some kids, but fun for a little bit older kids, where they get to braid the tail for the lion. Next we have the purse. Lots of fun here for girls. They get to open it up using the big button, which is a great beginner button skill, is using a big button. And inside the purse, they'll find their own little notepad to draw notes or draw pictures, as well as their pencil right here. The next thing that we've got is we have the shoe. A little bit more challenging for young kids, but it's fun for them to learn to lace it up. And then as they get better at it, they'll learn how to tie the shoe, which is a great skill, a life skill that they need to know. Over here we have, can you guess, a dress. We've got here where you can learn how to do a little bit smaller button, buttoning and unbuttoning the dress, just like a shirt. So it's a great skill for them to learn how to do the buttons, just like a shirt that they would normally wear. So lots of fun with the dress. Very next one we have, put on the mittens. They feel like kittens. We changed this design from the original book as well, and the fun part is you can now unvelcro I should say, the mittens, and then they get to try them on. So that's kind of fun because then they get to really feel how soft they are and get to actually like clap their hands with them on, all those different things. Next we have right here one of our favorites, which is the clothesline. Inside our laundry hamper, we have some clothes. For example, we have a dress, so the kids get to practice using their fine motor skills and pinching the clothespin, and then they get to hang the clothes on the line, which is a lot of fun for kids because it's not one of those things that they get to do very much nowadays with dryers and everything, but a great skill for their fingers. Next we've got the sheep. Right here, this is where they get to learn how to practice tying a bow, very similar to the shoe tying, but it's kind of fun because they get to envision it being around the neck of the sheep. Next we have here, this is great for little people, is the little elephant, where they get to wiggle the legs and move the legs as if the elephant is moving. And the kids really like this because they can make it like a story. They can tell a story like with an elephant and make them move, just kind of like a puppet. Here we have a very fun one, which is the treasure chest. Lots of fun for the boys because it incorporates a lock, and lots of boys like locks. So you put your key in, you turn the lock, you open it up, and inside there is a treasure. Fun part is there might be a necklace. And then, of course, for the next page over, the earrings, which they can practice doing clip-on earrings on the little dog to make the dog super fancy, just like that. So, then everything can go back in the treasure chest when they're all done, and it can get all locked up again. Next we have, this is a lot of fun because it's a lot of fun for girls and boys to dress up and everything, but they can try on a ring. They try it on their fingers, see which finger it fits on, and then they can feel like they're a king. This one is our next favorite one that we love, and a very favorite one with kids is learning how to do snaps. So the fun part is they get to take off the apples and fill the basket, and when they're all done filling the basket, then they can take the apples back out of the basket and put it right back on the tree, just like that. And with that hard backing being in the page, this is one of those key things that made this a lot much easier for kids to do. Next we have here our turtle who likes to poke his head in and out. Same concept with the kangaroo. They get to hide the turtle's head, and then they get to feel around with their finger and try to find that turtle head, and oh, out he pops out again. So lots of fun, especially for little kids and everything. That fun surprise when it comes out. Next here, our buttons are getting smaller, as you can see from our very first button. This is where they get to practice buttoning and buttoning the flowers that are in the vase. So it's kind of fun because after you take off all the flowers, it's an empty vase with no flowers, and then they get to decide where the flowers should go and make their own flower arrangement. Lots of fun and great practice with those buttons again. Next we have another fun favorite, which is the balloons. We love this one because it's made with Velcro, and this is perfect for little kids. They get to unvelcro the balloons, and also if you notice, the strings match the color, so it's a good little matching game for little kids. So if they're needing to put the blue balloon with the blue string, it's good for them to practice their colors, which is great. Next we have a very fun one, especially for boys. They love this one, which is the garage. Be sure to put the car away after a busy day, and inside the garage is a red convertible where they then can drive it off and on to work, which is fun. And then drive it all the way back and back into the garage and close it back up.
But Mommy, I can get another car for you to use in that.
Okay, just a moment. Next we have a really fun one, especially with little tiny people. They love to play peekaboo, so we've got the hands already there, and inside is our little girl to play peekaboo right there. Lots of fun for little tiny people. Next we have, oh, and this is a fun one. Next on the docket, fold the hanky for the pocket, and inside we have a small handkerchief where the kids can practice folding it. They can fold it like into squares, all that fun stuff. And the great thing is they're learning the skill of learning how to fold laundry, which is kind of nice, and getting to put it there in the pocket so everything has a place. Another one of our favorites is how to weave. This is a great one and a little bit more challenging for slightly older kids. And what they get to do is they get to weave all different ways. So I've got it kind of already started, and we'll just finish it up here really quick. But it's great because they're learning their colors and how to go in and out and up and down, all those wonderful things, so that they can create their own design. Next we have the football, another great one where they get to learn how to lace it up and then tie the bow just like we practiced earlier. So this is a little bit more complex because there's a lot more holes, which means that they can do some different designs with their lacing, and that can make it fun, especially with older kids. Next we have a great thing that we can teach them is how to save their money. And inside we have that piggy bank. Again, they get to feel around, and they can even feel their money. And they can see how many pennies they've got by just pulling them out. And their little tiny fingers fit in great in the little hole. Next we have a really fun one, which is kind of like pin the tail on the donkey, but instead it's pin the tail on the bunny rabbit, where they get to close their eyes and see if they can feel around for the snap and do it with their eyes closed and snap it with their eyes closed. So that way they learn how to snap a shirt without having to see where their buttons are. Next we have another fun one with snaps, because the kids love snaps so much, is we have the stoplight. The great thing about this is they get to learn about red light, yellow light and green light and all those things that they mean to keep them safe out and about. So here they get to practice again, snapping on the different colors. And if you'll notice, behind the snap is the color of the light. So it's kind of like that same color matching game, and this is a perfect one for little people to begin with matching colors. One of the very last pages we have the teddy bear, which is one of our favorites because we like to put little special prizes in there. It's a great place to put little tiny snacks, little prizes for them to find, maybe another little activity, or even little tiny toys like little cars or little tiny Polly Pockets or something like that. But inside they get to practice, first of all, doing a zipper. They'll pull the zipper down, and inside they'll find a treat. And for example, we have in here a candy necklace, which is kind of fun. So then they have a fun surprise at the end for completing the book. The very last page is a counting one where they get to practice counting the different shapes and also talking about the different shapes and what they are. The fun part is too is that it creates a math game that equals up to 6. 3 plus 3 equals 6, which is kind of fun because then we can relate the numbers to actual math. And so I hope you enjoyed the book. That's the end of it. It's a lot of fun, lots of hours of entertainment for them, and one of those things that they will enjoy for the rest of their lives, as well as get to pass on to their kids as well when they're older. Anyway, that's the end of that.